This episode of the Multi-Point Inspection Podcast is brought to you by Vesperio. Vesperio's Performance Academy offers custom-tailored solutions for service advisors and leaders. According to Daryl Terrell, Matt Bauer's Ford is barely recognizable compared to its appearance 4 years ago.
Matt Bauer's, he purchased a store roughly about 4 years ago. It was a sore to eye to look at. I mean, it was dingy. Almost all the lights was out. Service reception area. It was so bad that we had a fish tank and even the fish looked depressed in the fish tank.
But what might be more impressive than its makeover on the outside is what's happening on the inside.
My task is just to find talent, to grow talent, to hold the standard, set the standard for our employees on how to operate and be professional, just to set the expectations and hold them accountable to the expectations that we set.
With an insatiable appetite for learning and growing, Darryl believes that building his people up is the key to success. And ever the competitor, Darryl is looking to compete with the best stores in the nation. In this Dealership Spotlight edition of the Multi-Point Inspection Podcast, Daryl Terrell talks about his philosophies on winning in every aspect of life.
Yeah, my name is Daryl Terrell. I'm the Parts and Service Director at Matt Bauer's Ford Metairie. I've been with this company for about 9 years now. I've been privileged with the task to take over the newly remodeled Matt Bauer's Ford store. Completely new renovations. Everything's brand new lifts, 48 bays. I'm just blessed and honored to be able to take over this beautiful store.
We'll start with an introduction, your name, your title, just a brief, and I'll cut that up and put that in that audio version later in a really cool way. So,
okay. Yeah, my name is Daryl Terrell. I'm the Parts and Service Director at Matt Bauer's Ford Metairie. I've been with this company for about 9 years now. I've been privileged with the task to take over the newly remodeled Matt Bauer's Ford store. Completely new renovations. Everything's brand new lifts, 48 bays. And I'm just blessed and honored to be able to take over this beautiful store.
Slidell, Louisiana, is that where you are?
I actually live in Slidell. The dealership's located right outside New Orleans in a town called Metairie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's that market like, population wise? Outside of New Orleans. I know New Orleans is big.
So most of our customers come from New Orleans. People from
Okay.
Metairie, yeah, most of our customers come from New Orleans. It's a large, huge population. It's a inner city, but most of our customers, they come from the New Orleans area.
Okay. Okay. So you said it was a big store.
Correct.
Okay. Your background, Darryl, as much as you want to get into it, just how you got into the game, just anything you want to talk about.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty unique. So my dad, he was a service manager. So ever since I was young, I like to say I was born into this field like it was my calling. And so from as young as I can remember, I would go to my dad's shop and we would work on cars. But the crazy thing about that is that he never wanted me to get into this industry. So I went to college for business, and for some reason I found my way back into this industry. And so I got my first job at the intern at a Subaru dealership. So when I was in high school, I would go to this dealership after school and just help the mechanics work on cars. And what really was like an eye-opening effect for me to actually stay in this industry was, I never forget, I got my check and I was complaining about taxes. I was like, man, they took $35 in taxes out of my check. And so this mechanic, he was like, Daryl, stop complaining. And he showed me his check and I was like, wow, I watched this guy every single day put the work in. Like I watched him when he come to work, watch him when he leave, and I see the results reflecting his paycheck. And I knew right then and there, this was what I wanted to do. And so I followed that journey, worked my way up to lube tech, worked my way up to a technician, worked my way up to ASC master technician, Nissan master technician, shop foreman, service manager, and parts and service director.
So what span are we talking about here? I'm not trying to ask your age, but just to get a ballpark.
So
How
my
long you
first
been in it?
job, my since I was 16 years old, that's when I got my first job in a dealership as an intern. 16 years old. I'm 36 now, so all about 20 years. Which
Okay.
it's so crazy because it's 20 years, but I feel like it was like 5 to 10 years. Like time just flies. Time flies by so
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah. Yeah. I've done a bunch of stuff. I just turned 50. I've done a bunch of stuff, and it's funny how you look back. I was in the aftermarket crash parts game with Keystone Automotive. I did that for 13 years
Wow.
and left in 2013. And it seems like that was forever when I was in it. But now I look back, and it's just a small bit of what I've done in my career, you know. Um, but
Correct.
yeah, that automotive industry, man, there's money to be made. You just have to look for it. You know, I was just a parts guy, man. You know, but still, they start paying you commission on
It sucks
what you
you
put
in.
out, man.
It sucks you.
Yeah, yeah, it's golden handcuffs, man. You know, it's like, oh wow, yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
like to teach a lot of my guys as well. I'm known for hiring guys that necessarily doesn't have experience in the industry, and that's part of the hook. When they start making that paycheck, they never want to leave. You teach somebody how to make money in the industry, they never want to leave. So that's part of what I have a passion for is building people up, hiring people with no experience. And when I say that, I don't mean just hire somebody just to fill a number, but like just making sure you pick the right candidates during the interview process, asking them questions because people will tell you in the interview process what you're going to get. If you ask somebody what do they struggle with and they say they procrastinate a lot, then you know what you're going to get when you hire them. You
yeah,
know, but just
yeah.
being real selective with who you choose on an interview process, and that's how you get good candidates.
I'm going to make a note. I want to come back to that because I do want to talk about turnover and retention. Um, but there was something. Oh, how different do you think your career path would be, seeing that you came back to automotive without the business schooling? Would you be the same Daryl in the industry now? You think?
That is a great question. Um, that is a great question. I never really. I think, yeah, I probably would still be a technician without the business side of it. Because when I was a technician, I knew the business side on the back end, textbook wise, but as far as doing it on my day to day basis, I didn't really do it on my day to day basis. I was more concerned with fixing vehicles. But without that business background, I probably would still be a technician right now.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny how that, talking about me getting into the parts game. You know, I was on the clock in the beginning, and of course, I still am not a salesperson. I sold through my service. Um, you know, if I didn't get the parts, if I brought damaged parts to these body shops, they're on a time frame on these insurance jobs, you know, and they have to fork out extra for an extra day on a rental car if you don't. And man, believe me, I would hear about it, you know. Uh, and we used to joke, we used to call ourselves parts humpers. That's all we are. We just hump parts for a living, man. They threw commission in the mix though, and I'm a college dropout. I couldn't decide what I wanted to do, but I know enough. But I've always been a reader, and man, I would read books like Guerrilla Marketing back in the day, or the E Myth, and I feel like I did a little bit of business school on my own. And man, you throw that with commission in the mix, and how, you know, and their big deal at Keystone was give yourself a raise. You want a raise, give yourself a raise. You can make, there's no ceiling, man. You can do whatever, you know, which is a little bit of a stretch. There's a ceiling to everything. You know, you're not going to rule the world, but man, that flipped something in my head. And that was a business job for me. I wasn't just a parts humper. You know, I was dealing as much with numbers as I was parts, you know.
That's interesting you say that, and you're actually 100% accurate on that. Like I don't consider myself a salesperson, but I'm in a sales industry, and when you really look at it, sales is all about taking care of the people, and just truly wanting to help and bringing value to people. And if you could bring value to somebody, Then you could take the sales out of it, but as long as you bring in value to somebody, they'll purchase. They'll make a purchase if you're helping them. If your product helps them out, it's you don't have to be a hard nosed closer. You just do the right thing. You're transparent. You build that trust, and people would purchase. It's not. I think sales get a bad reputation a lot of just selling people things people don't need, especially in this industry, automotive industry, with the MPI, with the multi-point inspections. And if you follow the process on a multi-point inspection, you do the same inspection on every single car. It's every car needs something, or it's going to need something at some point. So as long as you're transparent with the customer throughout the entire process, then you don't have to go out and be a hard-nosed salesperson. You'll automatically close your sales.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so you want to talk about Matt Bowers Ford? You said there was a big remodel, right, or is it a new store? Do you want to give me some of the background on the dealership?
Yeah. So Matt Bowers, he purchased a store roughly about 4 years ago, and it was a sore to eye to look at. It was dingy. Almost all the lights was out. Service reception area. It was so bad that we had a fish tank, and even a fish tank, the fish looked depressed in the fish tank. But he purchased it to remodel it, and they went into construction. The store was in trailers for about 2 years. They were operating out of trailers, and we finally, man, this store is the most beautiful store I've been a part of. Probably one of the best looking stores in New Orleans. Everything in the entire store got completely gutted out. Everything reinstalled brand new, and they expanded the facility as well. They went from a 30 bay shop to 48 bays, and from 4 service advisor desks to 8 service advisor desks, and it's really a beautiful facility. And I'm like I said, I'm just honored to be a part of it, and to be able to run a store of that caliber. And my goal for the store is to compete with the best in the nation, as far as employees, staffing, numbers, just to compete with the best in the nation.
Yeah, I'm in Jackson, Tennessee. I'm in between Memphis and Nashville on I-40, and Golden Circle Ford here. They just bought. We had a movie theater that used to be when I was a teenager. That was the place, man. It was like a 10-plex. They bought that next door, man, tore that thing down, and now they're just, which is really cool to see because of all the doom and gloom that you hear. The economy's not great, and the automotive industry obviously has its challenges, but to see a dealership do that and expand in this day and time is cool to see,
Yeah.
Do you want to get into your duties, what you do, what did you oversee?
Yeah. So I'm the parts and service director here at Matt Bowers Ford, and my task is just to find talent, to grow talent, to hold the standard, to set the standard for our employees on how to operate and be professional, and just to set the expectations and hold them accountable to the expectations that we set. And just because you tell somebody this is what we expect of you, one time, I don't think that's enough. You gotta reinforce that over and over again. And if they're not reaching your expectations, it's not a just get rid of you type of call to make. You want to find out why, and if you can help them out, find a way to help them out, because at the end of the day, you're as successful as your employees are. So my challenge and my job duty is to just make sure my guys are being as successful as possible. And if there's anything I can help them out with along that way, along that path, to give them that guidance and watch them be successful. And that's the joy of this industry. That's the joy for me, is to see my guys win. And that's what I love to do. I love pushing these guys' buttons and just getting the best out of them.
Do you have, and you don't have to give me hard numbers if you don't have them, but like just some success stories with that? Like, is your retention good, or just talk about how that philosophy is worked?
Yeah. So just to give you a rough, just so last August we did 3,600 shop hours. The August before that, we did it was 2,000 shop hours. So we almost doubled our shop hours, and that came with just staffing, training, tons of training. But with staffing, you just can't hire people and expect results to come. You got to support them as well. CSI, we hit CSI. I want to say since January, we missed it 1 month out of the year, and with CSI, what we have done to help fix CSI is we pretty much we cut our express time down from 3 hours on an oil change down to an hour to 45 minutes. If yeah, so if you, I hope I hope I said that right. It's an hour or 45 minutes to hour. I'm sorry, not an hour to 45,
Okay.
but 45 minutes to hour. And
Okay.
and part of doing that is you get people out and out faster. You're able to take more cars in. That's how you build your RO count, and you just take care of the customer ultimately.
The Vesperio Performance Academy offers custom-tailored solutions for service advisors and leaders. We allow you to select exactly what you want based on your store's needs. After taking our customized learning path survey, we use those results to tailor a learning path specifically for you. You'll have access to our complete learning library, and you can test what you've learned with our knowledge checks. And for managers, our easy-to-use admin dashboard allows you to easily see current activity from your team and access reports quickly. Vesperio's Performance Academy promotes advisor and manager engagement and communication by including the manager after every concept an advisor completes. Vesperio also allows users the ability to add custom dealership assets and processes that all live in one location. To get a look inside the Performance Academy or to get your team started today, go to Vesperio.com. That's Visperio.com. Yeah, that's a big one, man. The Express, the independents, they had a stranglehold on that, and nobody really wants to take their car in, man. Nobody does, I mean, that's just it's like going to the dentist. You have to do it, but you don't really want to do it. And these guys can get you out fast. That's always been a thing that dealerships, I think, are, and they're seeing it now, like, and they're working towards that, because that's just the express lane is probably where most people are going to go, right? They're going to do that more than have some big repair to do, and that's where you can touch the customer more times in a year, say, than not. And if you get them on that, and man, that was easy, because everybody's going in, what they're doing. They're going, oh man, hell, I gotta go get my oil change, man. I don't want to do it. I got one coming up, and I'm just like, oh man. But if you knock that out, and and you don't take up half my day doing that, that'll bring people back, I would think.
Correct. I believe that whole open. I've seen it work time and time again. I've been in stores where walk into a store, it takes 4 hours for an oil change, and your RO count would never grow that way. It's just because of what you said. People don't want to wait 4 hours for an oil change. You're gonna lose them to independent shops. So part of growing your RO count and part of fixing CSI in any store I've been a part of is fixing your express first. That's staffing your guys up. So if you have 4 express guys, maybe you need to have 8, maybe you need to have 10. But ultimately, your vision should be take care of the customer when the customer needs you, rather than take care of the customer when you need the customer.
How much of that expansion did that go to strictly express? Did you build that out, or did that stay the same as the old shop?
No, we definitely built out the entire shop. So we went from 6 express bays previously, and now we have 12 express bays. So
Okay,
it was
they
double
doubled.
capacity.
Okay, cool. Are there any cool technologies? Not to plug. I always have vendors on here, and of course they're always plugging their stuff. But are there any cool things that you guys are implementing? And I don't care if you name who it is or not, but just to help with that customer experience. Like the video MPI is a big thing for me. What you can see, you can trust, kind of thing.
Yeah. That's actually we actually use Xtime. That we started using their video MPI and video and pictures as well to the customer, and it's really really cool, man. Like it's so transparent. Like if you send a customer a picture of their car and they need brakes, it's pretty hard to decline fixing brakes on your vehicle. It just I think it's cool when it just gives you that transparency effect with the customers where when selling, you build the trust right away. You don't have to. I mean, the trust is there because it's proof. It's their vehicle. It's a picture of their car. So I think that part of the technology is actually pretty cool. Then they could approve or deny right through their cell phone via text messages. And I think it's actually brings the convenience to the customer, and that's a part of this industry. We're trying to be like Amazon and those types of businesses and compete with them. Make it easy for the
That's
customer.
hard and that's not an easy thing to do. It sounds, yes, I mean, of course, because, and I say this, I know people are sick of hearing me say, COVID changed everything, man. The way we
Correct.
expect to be served, man. And it's hard to do it when you're talking about fixing cars, man. It's not, you can't snap your fingers and it's done. And but any technology that would help shave that time off and make it easier, and the texting, even that sounds so like a no brainer and so easy. But even that, man, I talked about how people dread going and having an oil change. They dread calling the dealership too. I mean, they really do. Nobody likes a phone tree, man. I don't care what business it is. Nobody likes that stuff. You
Correct.
know, so that's cool.
Yeah, I've been a part of this
Um,
industry back when we was handwriting tickets, repair orders. So I've seen the transformation and technology and how it's helping us. And I'm a big technology person. So
is what was it a hard sell to get the text to do the extra steps that it takes for video or pictures on the MPI?
So that always people think it happens overnight, and the real reality of that is that it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. You got to keep reinforcing. You have to find a way to motivate the guys, whether it's spiffing these guys to do videos, whether it's having contests to do videos. But it's something that people in the industry, I believe, things happen overnight, and it doesn't. It's something that you have to continue to harp on to make it happen. And you got to truly believe in yourself as the leader. And if you believe in the vision, then your team will follow.
Yeah. I want to get into a little bit of since they just redid this store, and as much as because I'm sure a lot of the like the GM is a lot. How much of the OEs are involved as far as like with Ford, for example, and you'll see where I'm going with this. Say like with the EV stuff, like do you, was that part of the revamp? Because I'm 45 minutes down the road from Blue Oval City, the plant
Wow.
where they're supposed to be building the new truck. And in fact, I've got an interview next week about that because they made news because they keep pushing the date back. And of course, everybody, it depends on who you talk to. The sky's falling. They're not going to do. I've toured that plant, man. It's huge. They're going to build something there. I don't care if it's gas burners or EVs. That they're not going to shut it down, right? But have you guys had a lot of input with the OEs of like what's mandatory? Like, did you have to put in charging stations, say, and certain things like that, or are you looking to that side of it when they did the revamp to get ready for that stuff?
Yes, we definitely had to put the EV chargers in. We have about 4 stations in our dealership currently, and it, I haven't really seen too many EV sales in New Orleans, in our area. But we definitely had to make sure we had to have all our chargers installed because of the manufacturer Ford. As far as using them on a day-to-day basis, we don't use them too often. Um, However, we do have them and support the EVs.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious because nobody really knows where this thing is going, man. They don't. But, and like I said, I'm hearing all this stuff because the plant is being built down the road. And of course, you've got your naysayers, then you get your people who are like, this is going to be awesome. And they're popping up. The chargers are popping up everywhere around here. But no matter what the market share is of that stuff, you have to work on those things differently, and there's certain things that have to be done. I know there's less, allegedly to do on them, but I mean, there's also a lot of risk too, and a lot of liability you have to be careful with, if one does go bad, and keeping everybody trained up, and then you get into the autonomous vehicle thing, which is probably coming too, and it just seems like you guys are probably doing another revamp here before long. You just built that thing out, and it's everything's changing so fast, man.
Correct. That's how this industry is. 10 years from now, it'll be something new. 10 years ago was something new. Every decade or so, it's always something new to adjust and adapt to. And that's the challenge of our industry. The first person that adapts to it wins, right? And you got to constantly adapt to anything, any kind of challenges or circumstances that you go through. You got to learn how to adapt and navigate.
What are your? You sound like a guy who probably has goals and a 5-year, 10-year plan. Where do you see yourself in the next? And I don't mean, I'm not trying to get you to say, well, I'm going to leave Matt Bowers Ford. I'm talking about like just growing in your role there, or what you'd like to see, or what do you think will happen?
Ultimately, I just want to get our store where we're at now to being efficient and maximizing our space that we have here. It's so much opportunity in our store. Opportunities are like tremendous. And I just want to be able to maximize the store's output and just perform at the highest level possible. That's my main focus and main goal is just growing the team and just being contagious to the guys and the guys being contagious to each other and just staring at that mix, staring at pot until that's ultimately the goal is for everybody to become successful in your team. Have that winning culture, like the Patriots or like the San Antonio Spurs or Chicago Bulls, that no matter who you are, if you come on our team, you'll be a winning piece of it.
Awesome. It's hard to get dealers on, man. It really is. Not a lot of, you don't see a lot of people, or maybe I'm just not looking hard enough, but, you got your Ed Roberts, you got people like that who are very leadership focused and on LinkedIn. And, we end up getting a lot of vendors on, which is great, but we had to start saying, okay, that's fine, but we want you to bring a dealer on that has boots on the ground, because I don't know, I just don't see a lot of you guys out there on LinkedIn talking like you guys talk. So that's why when I saw your August numbers, I was like, okay.
I appreciate you bringing me on. I think in this industry, though, it's all about mentorship. I heard you mention Ed Roberts. Saw a lot of great leaders out there. The guy that actually got the results, and just coming up in the industry. If you want to get results, they say you hang around the winners. So like I met Ed Roberts a few times. Michael Barrich is another. Joe Chambers. A lot of guys from Service Drive Live. We get together every Sunday and we discuss challenges in the industry. And we working through, work out, one guy might say he handled a situation one way, and it's a million and one different ways to get results. And you put those ways together and you figure out what works for you best. But I think most importantly, though, in this industry, it's so much knowledge out there. Just reach out to people and people will be willing to help you out.
That made me think of something. You were talking about the Service Drive Live, and this is in any industry, man. This isn't just automotive, but it is in automotive. I was that way. I'm not going to lie. We worked Monday through Friday. I worked about 10-hour days. I was in a truck 8 of those. I didn't want to talk about that crap when I got home on the weekends, man. Like, why? What is it in Darryl that makes you? I mean, that's passion, man. You know what I mean? Like, because and there's nothing wrong with that to an extent. If people leave it when you leave the shop. You know, what is it about you that makes you want to talk about this stuff on the weekends?
So, Brandon, like this, I like to compare my career to like a game. I'm a competitive person. I played football, basketball. So when I talk about my career, in the automotive industry, it's always something to work on. Whether it's your customer service skills, whether it's your leadership skills, whatever it may be, whether it's your employee, the way you handle your employees, and you got to work on each part of your game. So if you graded each part of your game on a scale from 1 to 10, you got to constantly push each level inch at a time to get to that 10. And I want to. It is no perfect leader or perfect person in an industry, but I want to be as perfect as possible. And I think the more reps you put in, working on your game, the easier that shot would be when you have to take that shot in the game. So I'm constantly. I heard you in the beginning when we first started. You said you read a lot of books. I read tons and tons of books, man. Audio books. I read the books. Um, got a bunch of favorite titles, man. But it's I compare my career to a game, and I'm just trying to perfect my game and perform at the highest level every single day. And even if it's not professional, I think your personal life goes into your professional life as well. If it's working out in the morning, just to get started, get your day started, get your clear your mind, clarity. Um,
Yeah,
it's so many different things and habits you do in your life because all your habits affect your results. So if you could tweak your
yeah.
your habits and you could be consistent, you'll get positive results.
And I tell you, man. You tell me if I'm wrong on this. I played basketball a little bit growing up. I was never an athlete. I'm a musician, so I was, you didn't see too many jock musicians. It was kind of you were one or the other. Same concept though, man. Practice, right? You practice.
Correct.
When I started looking at life in general, and I don't mean I don't take it seriously, but when I started looking at everything as a game, like you said, whether it be working out, life is so much easier. And because it gets addicting, those habits become habits.
Correct.
Those right, and then it's like, man, if you don't do it, you feel awful. If you don't work out, if you
Right.
don't, and we all have our little things that almost trick our brains to push forward. Man, life's a lot more livable when you're not just handling all the crap coming at you in defense mode
Correct. Correct.
and going after it, like a
Yeah.
game. I didn't know we were going to get into all this philosophy, man, but that is, you made me think of that because you either happen to stuff or stuff happens to you. Right. And what
Yeah.
you're talking about is you happening to stuff. And it's a great way to live your life. It really is.
I agree with you, and that's my philosophy to it. And I have great mentors around me, and like I said, I just put the work in, and I know that with the hard work that you put in, and it's a difference between putting the hard work in and being effective with the work you put in. People could work hard their entire life and go nowhere and just spin your wheels, or you could work hard and be
Yeah.
effective and move in the direction you want to move. So just focus on working hard and being effective with what I do with my time.
Good deal.
This episode was made possible thanks to a proud partnership with Vesperio, which provides tailored solutions to ignite automotive dealership fixed operations, performance, and profit.